Voice drops into suspenseful tone, right in action. Imagine sitting across the table from one of your company's biggest clients. Executives on one side, you on the other. Everyone's waiting for the contract to be renewed. And instead of smiling, you pull out your phone, sign with their competitor, and resign, right there in the middle of the meeting. Yeah, that was me. And my boss's face turned the color of a tomato. If you've ever been overworked, underpaid, or treated like you don't matter, stick around. This is one of the most cathartic revenge stories you'll hear today. And hey, if you believe bad bosses deserve their karma, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's dive in. I worked at one of the country's most prestigious digital agencies. On the outside, they looked like innovators. On the inside, a meat grinder. I wasn't just an employee. I was the guy, the one who kept critical systems alive for our biggest clients. Imagine a heart surgeon, but for software. One slip, one failure, and millions could be lost. But here's the thing. Year after year, raise requests were met with the same fake smile and corporate gaslighting. Sorry, budgets are tight. You're already paid above average for your position. Think of this as job security. No one else can do what you do. Job security? That was code for we're going to keep milking you until you collapse. I begged for a partner, someone to share the load. But my pleas landed in the shredder. Why would they hire help when I was keeping everything running alone? They didn't see me as a person, just a cog, and I was breaking. The stress wasn't just professional. It crept into my personal life. Sleepless nights, anxiety attacks before opening emails, feeling my chest tighten at 3 a.m., praying no emergency alerts came through. And still, all I got in return was crumbs. 6 months later came the dreaded performance review. I walked in hoping, just hoping, they'd finally recognize the toll this was taking on me. Instead, it was déjà vu. We can't justify a raise right now. You've been handling things fine on your own. I swear, I felt the heat rush up my neck. My palms were sweaty under the table. I remember thinking, if I keep letting them dismiss me like this, I'll be stuck here forever. What they didn't know was that I'd already been talking to a competitor, a company that did value my skills. They promised me fair pay, reasonable hours, actual support staff. It wasn't just an offer, it was my escape route. And during that review, while my manager smugly closed his little folder, I knew I was done. The universe couldn't have scripted this better. Right after my pathetic review, I was scheduled to sit in on a contract renewal meeting with our second biggest client. Picture it, a polished boardroom, suits on one side, executives from my company on the other, and me, sitting quietly at the table, the technical guy who ensured everything worked. As they droned on about service-level agreements and pricing, I pulled out my phone, and there it was, the offer from the competitor glowing on my screen. I opened the email. My heart was pounding so hard, I thought the client could hear it. Sweat prickled at the back of my neck. But instead of fear, I felt clarity. One tap, accept offer. 5 minutes later, the contract hit my inbox. Another tap, signed. And then I did it. I drafted a short, polite email to HR, my manager, and, just for fun, all the executives sitting in that very room. I am resigning, effective immediately. And I hit send. The little swoosh sound of the email leaving my outbox, sweetest music I've ever heard. I swear time froze. Phones buzz on the table. Executives glance down, then up, then at each other. My manager's face drained, then flushed bright red. "What the hell is this?" he hissed, slamming his hand on the table. I leaned back, calm as a monk for the first time in years. Exactly what it says. I've accepted a better offer. I'm done. The client blinked, confused. "Wait, you're leaving?" The exec scrambled. The meeting derailed instantly. My manager dragged me out into the hallway, spitting questions like bullets. "What do you think you're doing? You can't just walk out. Do you realize what position this puts us in?" And I told him. I laid it all out. The broken promises, the workload crushing me, the raises denied. He stared like I was speaking a foreign language. Utter disbelief. as if the idea of me having boundaries was absurd. Meanwhile, inside that boardroom, the client had just witnessed the heart of their system, the one person keeping everything alive, walk out. Sure, they renewed their contract that year, but by the next, they pulled everything. Because without me, the agency couldn't maintain the uptime they had promised. I walked straight into my new role with better pay, saner hours, and actual support. My career skyrocketed. And my old company, publicly, they blamed a harsh market. But I know the truth. They downsized, lost key accounts, and stumble hard. Because when you treat people like they're disposable, eventually they dispose of you. The sweetest part wasn't the raise or the new job. It was knowing that my silence in that boardroom spoke louder than any argument I'd ever made. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to beg. I just walked away and let their empire crumble without me. That, my friends, is justice. Sometimes revenge isn't about getting even. It's about reclaiming your worth, walking away from people who refuse to see your value, and letting their arrogance be their downfall. So what do you think? Was this one of the most satisfying exits you've ever heard? If this story gave you chills, smash that like button. Drop your own revenge story in the comments. And of course, subscribe for more tales of justice served cold. Because sometimes karma just needs a little push.